Happy Sundays with
Hello,
Cinnamon.
everybody.
It looks like we can see you. It's a little darker than normal,
Is
but
it?
the background's really nice. I
Well,
like
it'll
it.
give everybody something to talk about.
Yes.
I'm laughing about that because there are people who, it's too dark, it's too light, it's too raw, it's too low, it's too high. Ay, ay, ay. It's the beauty of do exactly what you want to do because everybody's going to have something to say about it anyway. So you're free. People who are afraid of what other people think are never going to be free to live their lives because you're never going to satisfy everybody's idea of who you should be. So you might as well just be because you're so perfectly you.
Yes, and this is so
Yeah.
perfectly us. We
Yeah.
love it, and we have
Yeah.
so much. I create so much joy,
Yeah.
and I know
Yeah.
you do too out of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And it's just letting it go after that. And if people want to join in on that joy, great.
And you know, I've heard people say, Kathleen talks too much, or she interrupts too much, or this or that too much. And I recently had a conversation with someone, and I said, you know, I never noticed that. I have it that I speak, she speaks, we converse, then whatever comes out of that is whatever anyone can use. So, again, it's up for conjecture because I am here, she is here, we are here doing this. It's called Sundays with Cinnamon because I'm the one on camera, although it could easily be the other way. As far as I'm concerned, folks. So enough of that. Kathleen, we were just laughing before the camera rolled because she said she wanted to talk about people who are attracted to other people and that kind of thing. And I said, oh, so we're talking about a roving eye. And then we both started laughing because of the whole eye drama.
No pun intended there.
And it's so fun because we're willing to laugh about it. And that's no joke, folks.
Yeah, that's
for
huge.
For some people, that is just not something you laugh about. It's eye cancer, for God's sake. And, you know, I say for God's sake in a very different way.
Yes,
for
you do.
God's sake, it is eye cancer. And that's how we promote God, by saying yes to whatever contract we signed with God to be of service in the world. So back to the roving eye. What was your question about that?
I found it to be interesting in class on Sunday when we were speaking with a fellow classmate about how when you're in a relationship, married, not, we think that we're not supposed to notice other people, and if we think about the other person, what does that mean about our relationship? So I wanted to talk about that.
It means nothing, and it means everything. Do you see what I'm saying? It is whatever you make it. If you make it mean something guilty and wrong and dark, it is. And if you make it just, wow. I mean, you go to the movies and you fawn all over George Clooney and Matt Damon or whoever you're fawning over, and you don't make yourself guilty about that, although it's the very same thing. Wish I could have a night with him, or, you know, it's nothing. So you take that. I used to say to my husband, because he loved women, and I loved that about him. And I used to say to him, just bring it home. You know, just admire and get yourself worked up if you want to, and bring it home. As long as you come home to me and we keep it real between us. And if you ever really want to go there with someone else, please just tell me first. Let me be the one to adjust to it, and you go on. Now, that doesn't mean I didn't want monogamy, because I did. And if you wanted to be with someone else, then go be with someone else for the long haul, because I wasn't going to play both sides of the fence. I'm a monogamous person. That works for me, and that's not to say it works for everyone. We were working just Sunday with someone who has what is it, polyamorous inclination, and I'm fine with that, and I work with that. It's just not my trip. So Yeah, just this roving eye thing. Just as long as your eyes are in your sockets and you bring them home, you know, just play with it.
So let's go back a little bit. You're
Okay.
fine with that. You're fine with polygamy. Speak about that.
You mean,
Or is it polyamorous
well,
relationships?
polygamy and polyamorous can be two different things, or the same thing. Polygamy usually means wives, that you're with the person as a wife. Polyamorous usually means you have a primary person and then you have amorous relationships above and beyond that
Yes.
primary one. So some people might see that the same, and although I have heard that is the distinction between polygamous and polyamorous.
Well, we definitely have a right or wrong society with that.
Absolutely.
And
With that and everything else.
with that and everything else, and in living love.
Oh, for instance, I want to touch on everything else. I have people that have really done their best to attack me, and I'm careful to say done their best because I won't be attacked. It's just not something I will allow, because I have learned to step aside from attack, because people
Emotional.
yeah, people don't really want to attack you. They are just not in their hearts, and so they're acting out in that behavior, and it's my obligation to me to stay out of the way. And so what I want to address here is people are constantly saying things like flesh and blood is more important than just friends, or and I'm criticized because I have so many daughters and sons, and because they're born of my heart, not necessarily of my body, and I honor the ones that were born of my body like it's indescribable. And for a talker, that's saying a lot. And my heart is so full of the other children that I love as my children. And people belittle that and me because, well, flesh and blood should, and I use the word loosely, be more valuable and important. And then if you take that apart and put it back together, then anyone who adopts a child has less commitment to that child than if it was of flesh and blood. Because they're not of flesh and blood, they're of the heart. And this flesh and blood thing, you can water that down, if you will, if you think in terms of you meet a total stranger, you decide to fall in love and marry them, and then if flesh and blood is the single most important thing, if your relative, your mother, your father, has problems with this person that you've taken on as a marriage partner, you've got to take the side of flesh and blood, don't you? Since it's more important than anything. Blood is thicker than water. Blood and flesh and blood and all this blood thing.
Well, and then what if you have a situation like yours where your father...
See, that's what the blessing of having been in an incestual situation. That's what it dilutes that blood and flesh and blood thing.
You'd be the biggest victim if you sat there and said, well, that's the relative I got.
Yeah. So please hear that from my heart, that I just would like to broaden the vision of this flesh and blood program, and it is a program, and it permeates our society. It's pretty much the norm. So
as far as I'm concerned, we can't have enough mothers and fathers and sisters and brothers, and it's just...
The family of man is real for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
And love is boundless. Fear is the one that says, oh no, you only have enough love to go around.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean...
love is it regenerates itself, and so does fear. Don't kid yourself. If you keep feeding fear, what grows? Fear. And I like
my mom thanked you, which was so beautiful when she did, because she knows that she couldn't give me what I needed from you. Yeah. And she's given me so much, and again,
what she had to give. So you look for it where it is.
And it's just so beautiful that day that I saw her thank you, and that she got it.
Yeah.
That was a really dear moment for all of us.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had other mothers say things like that, refer to me as the other mother, when they started out referring to me as Medusa.
Yes.
And then just knowing, learning my heart, being willing, and I give them the credit for being willing to see who I really am.
Well, and how much you're helping. I mean, it's just...
And I build
It's been hard. It's been difficult for me to not get my back up when you're criticized for that, because you have given so much and you've helped change so many lives, and so I have to breathe into that and bless my heart for my judgments that I've had.
Well, see, fortunately,
that I've created.
Yeah, fortunately that in the giving, I've already received, so that when I'm criticized for it, I've already got the payoff. So I step aside from the criticism. It's not that I don't hear it. I use it to my highest good, though, because it tells me where that person is coming from, what their fear is about, and so it just helps me to be more present to their pain. So, because that's all criticism is. It's just pain
of not being enough, jealousy,
yeah, sure,
competition,
jealousy. That's all jealousy is. It's just, oh, I'm not enough,
I'm not enough, and for you to have her as a sister or brother, all that, and it really destroys relationships. So, all right, well, we talked about quite a few things here. So I love you. Happy Sundays with Cinnamon.
Yes.
And I don't have my list of people.
Thank you, everyone, for hanging in there with the raw, crude, whatever it's being called, as far as our technical way of doing things. We have no technical way of doing things. We just want to love you and serve you in the best way that we can. And this is it for now. And anybody that wants it to be more high-tech or different, please come forward. Do it for us.
Yeah, help us out.
Yeah. Okay.
Love you.
God bless you.
Bye.
Bye.